What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the No Hope Podcast, where we want the world to know that there is hope. This is my beautiful wife, Kaytee.
Hey guys, we're so excited. We are on episode 9 today, and we're just ecstatic to be here, and we just love this time where we can just deliver a good message to you and have a great conversation. So let's get started.
Let's get into it. How was your Sunday?
My Sunday was great. We went to church this morning, and I love the church that we go to. It's one of our, goals to get to church every weekend. It's so good for our son to be around a body of believers, and for us too. Mm-hmm. And then I've been working on unit studies and doing all the things. How about you? How's your Sunday going?
Really good. It got super cold last night, so it was chilly this morning. I think it was like 20 degrees or 19 degrees. But I always love Sunday because we do our podcast on Sunday, and so I always love spending this time with you. It's always so fun. Yeah. And one of these days, what we're going to do is we're going to have our podcast in the car. Yeah. Because we always have like great conversations anytime that we're in the car.
Yeah, it's always super relaxed. And that's why we wanted to start a podcast, because we're like, man, we have really good conversations in the car. And this would really help some people, And
it's part of our purpose. Is to make a positive impact. I believe we're all, in a way, called to make a positive impact on others.
Absolutely.
Because it really is better to give than to receive. Yeah. And it's a way that we can give back, sharing our struggles and how God got us through them,
Yeah, just being able to share messages of hope and to be a shining light for, the different things that we've gone through to hopefully help somebody else. So, All right. So how do we do this, Johnny boy?
I love it. Okay, so we normally start off with a little Rochambeau, rock, paper, scissors.
Yes.
And winner goes first, but we have 3 different topics that we kind of pick out before, and then we just kind of have a good conversation. Pretty easy.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Okay, you ready?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh,
right out the gate. Man. I do think that's 3 in a row that I won. So
I think you win every single time.
Right. So, okay, cool. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about today was because Kaytee and I, we love numbers, right? It's like a language of the universe. God uses numbers, and it's awesome. So I believe God speaks to us in a lot of different ways, and numbers and symbols is one of them. So this being the 9th episode, I want to talk about the spiritual meaning of 9. And so 9 represents the conclusion of a cycle, which is pretty cool. Symbolizes completion and preparation for new beginnings. And so the number 9 is basically symbolizes wholeness and suggests that lessons have been learned and it's time to reap the rewards of new experiences, which is pretty exciting because
that's beautiful.
We've had a lot of lessons to learn in the past.
And I think everyone as a collective has had that time of like, oh my God, like I'm just trying to get through this. I'm just trying to heal. I just want to be to that next level. And the number 9 is implying, hey, it's time to heal. Like your healing is here. You're not in the journey to heal, but your healing is here. And I think that's really powerful because we can get into a perpetual state of, I need healing. I need healing. I need healing. But listen, you're going to get a scar from it and it's going to be beautiful and you're going to feel so much better. And then you're going to be able to share your message from what you've been through. So
absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And another thing that I have written down, which is pretty cool, is 9 is, and I already said completion, but it's also symbolizes compassion and higher purpose. And so it invites you to reflect on your journey, which I always think is beneficial, and basically let go of what no longer is aligned with you and step into a role of service, which is great, beautiful. And enlightenment.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that I hope that when people hear the word service, that they're in service to people, that they see it in a good way. Because a lot of people, when you're younger, you're like, oh, what? You want me to serve you? Like it could be taken in a negative, but it's actually the best possible thing that we can do is be of service. And I believe it's the most fulfilling thing that we can do, that God is like, I put you here to be of service. And once you're in that place of helping people, then you're really, that's part of fulfilling your purpose.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And it's also a universal sign of love, unity, and harmony.
Ooh.
And so I'm sure with all the different things that we've been through, I would say in the last decade, my hopes is these next couple of years, there's a lot of unity as a country in general, and the impact, the positive impact that America can make on all these other countries. I mean, we're like an example in a way, right? And with us fighting and all this diversion, it's like we look like kids, man. You know, like let's grow up.
It's like, okay, we get that we're the youngest, you know, we're the last to be discovered, but we're also, I feel, major pioneers in life and in liberty and in patriotism, and it's okay to love your country. I think that we're supposed to. You go around to different countries all over the world and they love their country. And so to be able to get back to that and find deep healing and deep unity for everyone, and just everyone get over themselves and just learn to love each other, that it'll just change the world in such a beautiful way.
America, baby.
Yay.
Beautiful country. So, and then, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, after we got those guns, we're feeling all patriotic.
Oh, yeah. You know? Man, I can't wait to go shoot them. So, you're next, right?
Yep. So I actually want to delve just a little bit deeper into the number 9.
Okay.
Because not only, you know, we're doing our 9th podcast, but in numerology, it's the number 9 year. So when it's, so we can really reflect that into humanity, like what we were talking about, is that we do have the opportunity to heal and take hold of all of the good stuff that comes from the number
9 year, because if you take the 2, the 0, the 2, and the 5, it adds up to 9.
Yes.
Okay. And then what about the I guess you could add up the month and the day and the year every day, and it's like the number for the day, right?
Yeah, but then you're going to have an all-encompassing theme of the number 9.
Yeah.
If you're not wanting to look it up every day.
Sure.
But we have reflection, healing, culmination of efforts. So seeing the fruits of your labor and how your efforts align with the greater purpose or divine plan of your life. So all of the efforts, all the seeds that you have planted, you get to finally see sprouts. I love the message today at church, and he was really talking about the seeds that we plant, and that we have to be willing to be like, okay, I'm in this for the long haul. I'm willing to put in the years. I'm willing to put in the work, and not just expect this like miraculous miracle, which I think is really beautiful. And Johnny and I look back at the 10 years of our life and the different challenges, the different seeds that we planted too. Amidst the adversity, there was always beauty among us, and we were always planting seeds regardless. And I'm so grateful for that. So if you're in the process of like, man, I've been planting seeds over and over and year after year and still nothing,
keep planting,
and this may be the year for your oak tree to just finally bloom and come to life.
And I love what he said, because when he was talking about the seeds, he was saying you need to say yes to the years, right? So be willing, like you were saying, to put in some years. And it might take 6,
but yes to the years. That's 10. What he said. Yeah.
Yes to the years is basically saying, okay, I'm in it for the long haul. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know.
And I love this too. And it says preparation for a new cycle. Although the 9 years about endings, it also sets the stage for a new beginning, which will come the following number 1 year. So it's like wrapping up and like, let's go. You know, it's like before the wave comes over. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So number 9. Yeah, we love the number 9.
So
and we do have angel number t-shirts with the 999 on them.
And they're awesome.
They are really awesome.
On the back it says keep seeing 999, and then it has like a little bit about the number, what it represents and stuff like that. And it's cool because, you know, I always say this, but when you're in the grocery store and somebody reads your shirt, it happens to us all the time. They're like, hey, I really love your shirt. That's encouraging, you know?
Yeah.
And so you don't even have to say anything, and you can still be the light of the world.
Yes.
Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to talk about is, what does it take to create real change in your life? And the reason why I asked that is this time of year, people, they make goals, right? And then they quickly fade away within like the first couple of weeks or month, right? Like everybody is so determined, I'm going to change my life, I'm going to become better, I'm going to go to the gym, all these different things. But how can we truly become better? And I'm curious to hear from you, is how can people make real lasting change? And when I was thinking about this, I think it's daily consistency. And instead of completely trying to change into a whole new person, you implement daily habits and you say, every day I'm going to do a morning routine with these 3 different things. I'm going to work out, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to pray. And then you just consistently do that every single day. So instead of thinking like of the entire year, the entire month, you say, just for today, I'm going to implement these different habits and routines. And then you look back 6 months down the road and you're like, man, I'm a completely different person than at the beginning of the year, you know?
Yeah, I think that's super powerful to just really go day by day and you have those different rituals that you do and make it, I've talked about this before, but making it easy and simple and biohacking yourself and habit stacking yourself of like, okay, well, what do I already do that's positive?
Yeah.
What can I add to that positive thing? And even if it's doing it one at a time, as women, we're very cyclical. So we're going with the moon, we're in and out. And so we change a lot, but giving ourselves the opportunity to ease into each season and ease into the change, I think that's really powerful when it comes to consistency. So, and also I feel like for us last year, we did a really huge overhaul. We got like a big ass calendar and we wrote out our goals. We made vision boards and all of this stuff. So this year, what we did is we got a big ass calendar again, which we really, really love that. It puts a whole new perspective on the year and time. But we doubled down on everything. We looked at our goals. We saw what we did, which was really nice to see the visual of like, oh my God, look at we accomplished this. But then we doubled down on things that we hadn't completed yet, knowing that sometimes it takes more than a year to do these specific things. So instead of completely scratching and taking over, maybe look at the things that you did do positively and then how you can add to it. I think is really powerful because it makes it so you're kind to yourself. You know,
Very
we can
important.
be so hard and rigid on ourselves that instead of doing that, just be like, hey, good job there, buddy.
Right.
And then keep going from there.
Yeah, exactly. I know it was funny because we were going through the different things, the goals that we accomplished in 2024. And there was a couple on Jude's thing that he wasn't sure if he kind of accomplished it. So he like wanted to go and try and do it real quick so he could have it accomplished on his goals.
Yeah.
It was so cute. But yeah, I think doubling down is the way to go. Like, okay, I didn't do that and I didn't do this, but we're going back after it. We're going to make it happen this year. And you know, being nice to yourself, I think that's really important.
So. And we love that, you know, our son is 7 and he does it right along with us. So we do those little rituals with him, and I think that's really powerful to do with your kids instead of like leaving them out of the things that you're doing and you're like, no, these are mommy and daddy's vision boards. He gets his own vision board,
right?
And we help him, of course, guide him through, so he has like educational goals and, you know, these different things. But I really love doing that with him.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, you're next,
My
Mama.
turn?
Yep.
My turn? Okay, so I want to talk about seeking God to find your purpose. How do you actively seek God's guidance in discovering your purpose, and what role does faith play in overcoming obstacles along the way?
That's good.
Am I good?
So, yeah, how do I actively? I think like the biggest thing is for me is that because I think about Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. And, you know, my mom, since I was, and my dad always told me that scripture verse, and it has followed you and I think everybody really, right? But if you break it down, so he knows the plans. I don't know the plans, but if he knows the plans, then I should get as close to him as possible. And what's cool and incredible is that we can have an intimate relationship with the creator of the universe, no matter where we're at in our life, no matter where we're at geographically. And that to me is fascinating. Like God wants to know us and we can literally spend time with him and ask him like, hey, dude, can you guide me? Like I have no clue which way to go. And if we're still and we're quiet, then God can guide us and direct us. And I think for so many years, you know, I tried to do it on my own, being good, having good morals and being kind to other people, but really not diving into seeking after God and saying, hey, I want you to guide me. I want your will for my life. And ultimately, that's where the best adventure is at, is when you dive in and you're like, God, you guide me and you lead me. And ultimately, you become a better version of yourself the closer you get to God.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that in this day and age that people are scared of a religious God, but actually who our creator is a relationship God. He desires a deep relationship with us. And a lot of people that's a huge question mark for them. Like, how do I develop a deep relationship with the creator of the universe? If we look to scripture, we know that the kingdom of heaven is within us. So God is in us and he has his word laid out for us. So for me, practical things to do. In the morning, I love the devotional it's called Jesus Calling by Sarah Young. I think it's a really beautiful kind of spiritual milk to drink to just like start your journey with Christ. And then from there, you go into your Psalms, into your Proverbs. These Psalms, they're beautiful poetry and music that was sung to the Lord and that give us wisdom. And then from there, going into journaling and say, hey, God, start scripting and talk to God and watch he talks to you back. I've been scripting with God for like 14 years now. Yeah. And I think if I'm not doing it, I feel it. But then when I am doing it, it makes such an impact on the way that I mother, the way that I am a wife, the way that I have a relationship with myself. And so you can seek out a relationship with the creator of the universe. And I think it is one of the coolest things ever, and has changed our lives.
Yeah.
In a radical way. I was like, what is that? In a radical way. Yeah. Because we serve a radical God. Like what he does is wild and awesome.
Yeah. It's so incredible.
Yeah.
And another thing too that I wrote down about, because I was trying to think, I'm like, okay, so you can try and figure out what you're passionate about, what your purpose is. But I think like the best way to do it is because your purpose is kind of rooted in God's plan for you.
Absolutely.
And I feel like by seeking God and pursuing your purpose, you can embrace really the life that he created for you, right? And so I think that will bring significance. It will also require faith. And so I had the coolest conversation the other day with this business owner who is friends with multi-millionaire CEOs, and they're all super passionate about saving souls and Jesus. And it was just awesome conversation that I had with him. And he was like, listen, 2025 is going to be an incredible year to see what God does. And the kingdom of God is going to be built even more by young entrepreneurs and CEOs. And he said, mark my words, the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. And that's something that I say all the time. And I truly do believe it. And so I believe this year, if you get as close to God as possible and really decide to get focused on what you're passionate about and what your purpose is, I believe that God is going to open up some of the most incredible doors that you maybe could not even imagine. And you look back and you're like, man, that's amazing,
Yeah.
So
absolutely. And I think that we're all on our own individual journey as well. And that there's no need to compare your journey to somebody else's. Like if you're new in your faith or you've been seeking him for decades or whatever, I think that each individually that's what we have to take hold of, that God is always there and he is a divine comforter. When I think about the really hard times that I've had in my life, I think about that I was able to put that spiritual covering on and really truly be protected and feel loved even in my darkest times. So yeah,
absolutely
cool.
And
so
then
what's next?
Is it
Who's
are you
next?
The
Am I
last
next?
one?
Yep.
Nice.
Okay, so the last topic I have is striving after your purpose amidst doubts. When family or close friends express doubt or disbelief in your purpose, how do you maintain faith and determination to stay on the path God has set for you?
How do you maintain faith and stay on the path? For me, I mean, it's just, spending time with God, I think is massively important. I was talking to a friend of mine how having a morning routine where essentially, especially as the man of the house, is like you put on the full armor of God. Well, how do you do that? You do that by spending time in the quiet, in the stillness of the morning with God, so that you can be prepared for what the enemy tries to throw at you, because he's going to come after you so that he can get to the family, right? Because he's all about order, right? And so that's just the order that is created and designed. So for me, that is like a true man, warrior, is one who prays, one who spends time in the morning, knowing that he's going to war for his family through those prayers and reading the word and just spending that time with God, so that he's got the full armor on and he's ready to take on the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that when you were facing doubts or naysayers or anyone along your path, when you're like, man, I'm really believing that this is what God has put on my heart to do. Like, this is the path forward. Now, you can know that it's the path forward by continuing to seek the word, continuing to, seek biblical truths and your intuition and grow that relationship. So then you're not completely off course or off track, because God's not going to make you fall into sin. And I think about times where I really thought that I was in the right, but I actually was totally in the wrong. And and then you're like, oh, okay, course correct. And God has a way of doing that. And if there's something in your heart that's nagging you in a place of service that's for the greater humanity, then you can know that, God has really put that on your heart to do. And by chasing after your gifts and knowing yourself, that it's like this powerful crescendo for your purpose,
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you say that, like, as a man, you go in and you war and you pray, and women, don't forget that you do the same thing for your family. Because of the divine masculine and the divine feminine, the masculine is very exterior, very protective, outwardly, oh, I have a sword, right? While women, more internal, spiritual, flowy, creative. So you are, while your husband, your sons, your children are out in the world, it's up to you to be in your war room, so to say, or in your mind and your heart, and always be in prayer. I've come to the place in my life where I can always be in a state of prayer, that I'm always praying about the next step or what I need to do. And I think that's really powerful, because sometimes we could be like, okay, I prayed in the morning, and I'm good. Or I went to church on Sunday, I'm good. But there's this song, and it's like, I love it so much. And it's called Monday Morning Faith. And it talks about how we need righteous warriors praising God Monday through Saturday, not just Sunday. We need to be rising up every single day to take accountability and what we're creating and what we're doing for our generation and the generations to come. So
I agree. Absolutely. Another thing too, that I think is really important is, if you haven't taken time to kind of figure out what you're passionate about. I mean, we all love a lot of different things, and surfing and all these different things, but if you haven't taken the time to kind of really dive into what are you truly passionate about and what your purpose is, we have a free workbook that you can download. Very simple, easy to do, and it will give you kind of a good direction on what you're passionate about and what your purpose might be. We have some really cool, exciting things that we're coming out with too, to help people really kind of break out or break down what their purpose is. And I always tell people, your purpose can change throughout the different seasons. Like, your purpose will evolve, but it's important to kind of figure out, at least at the beginning of the year, what you feel like your purpose is, and then pursue that, right? Because we're born in a world with so many opportunities. You could literally build a business around whatever it is you love to do and be successful at it. Maybe not right out of the gate, but if you're passionate about it, you will wake up every day and you will grind and you will sweat until you make that vision a reality, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah, so that's on our website. You can check it out. And then,
yes, ma'am. And I also have to say, when it comes to passion, you have to remember that passion is something that you're willing to suffer for. So what are you willing to suffer for? So when you see people like getting up and grinding at the gym, they are passionate about that. They're passionate about their bodies, the work and the load. And so I think that's really important to remember when it comes into figuring out what your passion is. Yeah,
I don't know why, but I feel like there's somebody that's like really passionate about animals, cats, dogs, or whatever.
Really?
Even things like that. Like you could, whatever you're passionate about, you can build a business around it. Absolutely. I'm telling you.
Especially in this day and age. I mean, the world is at our fingertips constantly.
Yep, so. Absolutely. Awesome. Cool. Well,
wonderful. Well, that was so great. Thank you guys so much for your time. We are just falling in love with this process, and we're so happy to spend this time together with you, and we'd love to hear your feedback. And so we hope you have an incredible 2025, year number 9. Time to heal, time to create something beautiful.
Go get it, make it happen. Have a phenomenal week. As above, so below, as within, so without. Make it happen. And thank you guys for joining us. Have a great rest of your day. Too. I was thinking about my tattoo. As above, so below. And I was like, packed with knowledge and wisdom.